The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine with Nick Eatman.
What is up, and welcome back. Welcome back to Dallas. It is time for the Cowboys Storyline. It is Tuesday, August the 20th. I'm Nick Eatman here, and you hear that? You hear that? You don't hear it. You don't hear the mowers. This is unbelievable. This is great. I know you guys missed that. What is that? What are we doing, Jazz? Anyways, Garrett from Dallas is our first caller. Before I get to Garrett, I just want to say it's nice to be back here. We're going to talk to the Cowboys game. We're going to talk a little bit about what we heard yesterday from some of the new guys there in Oxnard. Still there. The team is still there, but I had to come here. Sorry, guys. Had to get back, but I think everybody's excited about it. Got the numbers back. Same number, 888-855-2297, so you can ditch that 214 number for a while, maybe till next year. But Carl Lawson talked. Jordan Phillips talked about the new defense. Mozzie Smith said he's going to be fine, just a little bit of a scare. No problems there. He should be back and ready to go. So good reinforcements there for the defense. All right. So, like I said, let's get started here on the phone line. Garrett in Dallas, you're first. What's up, Garrett?
Hey, Nick. Appreciate the time. First-time caller, long-time listener here. Question for you. So,
here we go. We got to do the here we go. Got to do the here we go since you're first-time caller.
There we go.
All right,
here we go.
What's up, Garrett?
Hey, appreciate the time, guys. Just curious. So, after the big CeeDee Lamb Instagram story yesterday, I was just wondering how much of your time was consumed by looking at Spider-Man subreddits yesterday, trying to decipher what he might have meant by that.
None. Actually, zero. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, seriously, when he signs, he signs. Like, at this point, like, I'm not reading into that cryptic stuff. You start missing legitimate time, missing games. That's when a real holdout is. Right now, I don't believe the Cowboys have. When Jerry said there's not a sense of urgency, it's because there really isn't. Right now, he doesn't feel like he's missing anything to the point where they can't catch up. You start getting closer and closer, though. I think when you start missing time here in Dallas, when they get back to practice, I think that's where the urgency will be, and I would imagine that he signed. So anything he's saying, anything Jerry's saying, not really buying any of it as a big deal right now. What about you? Are you worried about it?
Not worried at all. I think it'll get done. I mean, this seems to be a pattern, past couple of years with the Zeke contract and things. I am not worried at all. Seems like he's, staying in shape. I think it'll get done when it needs to get done. But yeah, no, I think it's personally for me, it's been good to see some of the other guys, step up in training camp. Tolbert getting a lot of looks out there, which has been fun to see. But yeah, no, not concerned at all. It's been, if anything, it's been kind of more fun to see some of the other guys get some, first team looks. Jalen Brooks, one of the guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, not a concern. I would say.
All right, Garrett. Appreciate that call, and we'll move on to before we get to the next caller. I just want to say this about the young guys. I think the biggest jump with any player because of CeeDee's absence has probably been Brandon Cooks. Cooks has looked every bit like the number one receiver. I know Dak was asked, which player has the best football IQ on the team, and he said himself first, but when he was asked about another player, he said Brandon Cooks, and I think that goes a long way to just understanding what type of player he is and how he's on the same page. He understands exactly what the defenses are trying to do and how to get open. And I think that's a quarterback's best friend right there. So more than anything, I think Brandon Cooks has taken that leap up to, not saying he's the new number one. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying he can be that type of guy. And I think having a couple of those guys on your team is certainly a big deal. All right. Let's go to Jeremy in Utah. Jeremy's next. What's up, Jeremy?
Hey, what's going on, Nick?
How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Hope everything's going good. Welcome back to that.
Thank you.
I'm not there, but yeah, it's good to have you without the lawnmowers going on.
Exactly. I think I heard something. I think Jasmine was playing something. I don't know if that was some kind of joke or whatever that was, but I think it was they were having some fun there. But no, it's quiet and nice.
So a couple things I want to talk about. First, with the CD thing, a lot of when I've called in the past, a lot of my angst, I guess, goes towards a lot of other Cowboys fans, like the negative ones, And, everybody wants to say Steven and Jerry are dragging their feet and everything. When are the agents going to be responsible? When are the fans going to start looking at the agents and saying, hey, maybe this guy's the one that's holding it up? You know what I mean? They're the ones that
what's
are
his
so
agent's
concerned
name?
about their...
Real quick, what's CD's agent's name?
No clue.
Yeah. What's Dak's agent's name?
No clue, dude.
Right.
I mean, if I heard it, I would.
Me too.
If I heard it, I would.
Me too. I think that's the point. What I'm saying is I think that's why, because when are they going to be held accountable? When people start knowing their name, and that's the thing. Like, there's only like Scott Boras in baseball. He's like the one agent that people like knew. Other than that, you don't. Rosenhaus. But most of the time, Jerry Maguire. I mean, those are the agents that we actually know. But
but I think they're the ones holding this up more than anything.
I totally agree. Especially it gets weird when they have the same client. Like I think CD's agent's also Jefferson's agent. So I mean it's that can get kind of tricky there. But
and
you're right.
With the tax breaks and stuff in Texas, they should be taking a couple million less. But the agents won't let them because they don't want their commission to be less. See?
Yeah.
And I doubt CD's sitting there kicking his feet over $33 million, you know what I mean, and saying, "No, I'm not going to play for that." I doubt that totally. You know what I mean? And the other thing is so everybody's so critical of Steven and Jerry, right? Well, yesterday, not really quietly, but kind of quietly, Randy Gregory found himself getting released in Tampa Bay, right? And we dodged a bullet in that contract. No reason. And I remember at the time when the contract went down and Denver stole him from us, or whatever the stupid narrative was. Jerry screwed it up at the 11th hour or whatever. No, he put contingencies in that contract that protected the team should Gregory do exactly what he did in Denver and now in Tampa Bay. The guy was trying to get as much money and play the least as possible. And he accomplished that. Now, when is Jerry and Steven going to get the credit now for making a wise decision and putting a contract together that was basically, pay for play, right?
Exactly. Jeremy, don't throw rationale into this, okay? Like you're being rational. Be careful when you do that.
I know. I get it from other Cowboys fans all the time. The ones that say Zeke's all washed up and they're stupid and they got him for a great price this year. I'm not scared about the running back position. I just think these national narratives, and I've said it before, just drive me nuts. These guys that just listen to pundits on ESPN or Good Morning Football and then all of a sudden think that they're GMs and they're better at the job than the people that are actually paid for it to do. Our scouts aren't stupid. Our front office isn't stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. Sometimes we as fans just need to shut up and let them do their job, man. Right?
Right. Well, I'll say this. Thanks, Jeremy. There's going to be a time later this year we have like a sponsor here for Yeti, the Yeti hot take of the day. And I think, Jeremy, you would have won that. We're not there yet. We're not there to that point. But, certainly a good point. Thanks for the call, Jeremy. And I'll say this to add on to that. One thing I hate is when people are hypocritical about the situations. They can argue this point one way and then they argue the other. And the point here is that, Jerry and Steven are getting a lot of blame for not doing anything in free agency, because why did they get themselves in this cap situation the way the way they are? So, they messed up all these deals. They did this and this. But yet the same people just are blaming them. Why don't you just get the CeeDee deal done? Why don't they, why don't you get it done? Get the Dak deal done. I mean, are you sure Dak's not asking for $65 million? I mean, over 60? I mean, I'm just saying that's where it starts. I remember when Tony Romo got his very first deal. He'd only played like 10 games in 2006. And in 2007, they were negotiating a new contract, and the initial price for Romo was higher than what Peyton Manning was making, and he had just won the Super Bowl. So that's where it starts, and then you have to work your way to that level. So if you want to just say, get it done, well, that kind of attitude is the same way that you get in these cap situations. And I think you made a great point about Randy Gregory. We forget all that about what happened, and then he left, and oh my God, Jerry messed it up, when in reality, I don't think he did. All right, Travis in San Antonio, you're next.
I don't hear any mowers.
I know.
But
Sorry,
that was a great drop that you did, though.
Yeah. I'm sure Beam had something to do with that one. He's over there in California.
Are you guys already working on a plan to mitigate that for next year at this point?
I don't think so. No, because it's the look. The look of the fields in the background. We may, you can always look at another place, but I think it affects me more than anybody else because I'm really the only one that has the headsets on. The other people don't have the headset, so they just kind of deal with it. But for me, with the headset on, it's like 5 times louder. And it sounds like Claiborne is like right behind me, just like edging, weed eating, and stuff like that. It's unbelievable. I don't know. I mean, that end zone back there got mowed more than anything in the world. Like, that thing is, there's not even a blade of grass on there anymore because it gets mowed just back and forth on that end zone. It's awesome. All right.
It's got to look good. All I know is it was impressive how much they were mowing it, and we could tell by the way that you were sort of perturbed a little bit or a little annoyed.
Yeah, I didn't hide that very well. I apologize.
That's okay.
What do you got?
We would be too.
What do you got,
I just wanted to say, I think the more and more I think about this, like I know I heard with the last caller, I think Jeremy said, but or maybe it was 2 callers before this. I am a little bit worried about the CeeDee Lamb deal at this point. Not so much, I guess, of it getting done, more from I don't want to be that guy, but more from the standpoint of like anytime these things linger this long, and I know he's been working out, and it looks like they said he's put on like 15 pounds, so he looks bigger, which great. But I do worry a little bit about like the soft tissue stuff, right? Like it's always a concern, when we talk about it before about like it's in shape, right? It's gym shape, but it's not necessarily football shape.
Yep.
So I think he gets here, but I do. Hopefully they're smart about how they don't throw him in there for a full game, maybe against Cleveland, which maybe not people will like. But I mean, I think it'd be smart, like to pitch count him. You got to work him back into it, regardless of how good a shape he's in, right? Because you push him too hard, too fast, and we're talking like soft tissue stuff. I'm not going to say anything specific, but like that type of stuff's no good. So
it happens.
And then the other thing is, the more and more I think about this season, Nick, that I just think we know a lot of things hinge on this because of the 1-year deals. And it could go, I don't know if you've thought about it at all, but it could go like a whole array and host of directions with who stays on the team, who leaves, which route this team goes. And I think it depends just a lot on, even like we talked about like Trey. I think someone pointed out on Twitter, it wasn't me, so I'm not taking credit for it, but they mentioned in a world where, let's say they have a good season, Mike McCarthy does stay, the staff stays, right? You can paint a picture where, Rush is an unrestricted free agent. Maybe they let him walk. If he continues to show progress, which is what I would describe his last game as, is progress, even if Dak signs a deal, it might behoove Trey Lance to sign like a backup deal for 2-3 years and just keep developing. Even then, he's still going to be 27. So maybe at the end of this next Dak extension, when it gets done too, maybe he's ready, maybe he's not, maybe he can be a starter somewhere else. So I just think a lot of things, the more I think about it, hinge on how this season goes, and just wanted to see what you thought about that. But great show.
Thanks, Travis. You're right. I mean, like this quarterback situation is totally unique. I mean, I've never can ever recall a time where you're talking about every quarterback being a free agent and you're just not sure and really not sure what they're going to do next year. And they kind of all hinge on each other a little bit. Because Trey Lance, the idea was maybe he could get work in the preseason and then maybe he could be the future. I think for him, he looks like a backup quarterback. I mean, that's the best I think he would be right now. He'll probably just be the 3. They don't have to make any changes there. And Cooper can be the number 2. And who knows, maybe in the season they actually flip that where he is a backup for a game if they feel like there's a package there that they want to use him around the goal line or something like that. I don't know, but that we're not there yet. But I think for him the goal would be, to be. Well, for him, the goal is going to be the starter, but I think a realistic goal is for him to be a number 2 somewhere. That should be where I think he'll be. But yeah, you're right, Travis. I mean, it comes down to what happens this year. What does Dak do in these games? How do the Cowboys, how do they play? Do they win? How does Dak play? If Cooper Rush has to play, what happens there? Do they win like they've done in the past? Just a lot of different things that. You like to say it'll all work itself out, and it will one way or another, but it's going to be fun to kind of see how this thing really does play out. And I don't disagree with what you said about CeeDee Lamb being on a pitch count early on. It doesn't matter. It's Cleveland. The games count. He's got to play. Throw him out there. No, I think you still have to be smart about it. And hopefully everybody's seeing that. Hopefully the Cowboys are seeing that. Hopefully CD is understanding that. And that might be where the sense of urgency right now should come into play. Because it's not about the day before the Browns game. Oh, get it done. Okay, all good. Put him out there. No, it's got to be before that, like you said. That's a good call there. All right, let's go to one more call before we're going to take a break. Anthony in Miami.
Nick the Quick, what's going on, my guy?
How you doing?
Chilling. I just pulled over. My client is somewhere for 45 minutes, so I said, man, I got to get through.
All right.
So I'm going to get through and holler at my boy. Let me give you some Prince of Positivity.
Okay.
Prince of Positivity stuff, because players play and coaches coach. Can't worry about contracts. They're kind of close, but they're going to have to be some concessions on both sides. We understand that. So hopefully they'll come to an agreement on that. So What we had Saturday, and I'm hearing I have no social media anymore, so I'm not on the Twitter with the fam or whatnot. But I do see things on YouTube and I read comments, and I see people that really don't want to give these guys credit, because it's like this with me. When it's time to get your credit, you get your credit. Everybody knows you have to progress. Everybody knows you have to get better. You can improve on things. But they played Saturday night, second and third stringers, played the Raiders first, minus Devontae. They played the first team, Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins. If anybody know who those guys are on that D-line, I was impressed.
Yeah.
So I'll say this. I know he has to get better. He has to play some guys. He got to play a beast in week 1. He got to play a beast, Miles Garrett, which is our 60, our tackle. But that left side, from what I think, I'm just projecting this. You got something for about 10 years with Tyler and Tyler. I think you got something. I watched him. I think he's going to be right. He's going to get whooped a little bit, but he's going to be all right. Now, I got to commend you guys on something. I told you, I promote your media, social media, your Cowboy stuff. Please, people, it's too many shows. The deep blue that you guys did, and I saw your names in the credit, you, Derek, everybody, Kurt, Mr. Bullet Bob Hayes. It needed to be done. Another Florida legend like Mike and Emmett and Dion and Nate. It was put together great, and it needed to be told. His story needed to be told. It was like a rise to the top and a fall from grace. It was put together well. Nicole, I think, was on it too. I appreciate that kind of stuff, because that's what I do. Like now, when I hang up, I watch stuff like that until my client is ready to go. So I'm always going to be Cowboys for life. I hope CD signs. I hope Dak gets signs, and I hope Michael signs next year. That's all I can say. But I'm rooting for the Cowboys no matter what. Cowboys for life.
All right.
Talk to you next time, buddy.
Thanks, Anthony. Let me echo what you just said there about the Fast Lane Bob Hayes documentary. Kurt Daniels, Roxanne Medina, Nicole Hutchison, Kevin Timmons, and then a host of others. And I know my name was in there, but I really didn't do anything like those guys, those four right there. Excellent job. And you're right, a story that needed to be told. Not easy to tell those stories, obviously, with with Bob being passed away and just relying on his family and not a lot of video footage and all that. So it's a lot of hard work to do those documentaries and tell the right story. And I thought they did a great job. So kudos to them. And if you like that one, I promise you're going to like this next one coming up this Thursday, 2 days from now, online. It's Marion Barber. It's Barber, Do What You Love. And a lot of people have been working on that one. I know Alex Lilly, Caden Gates, Amber Garcia. They've really spent a lot of hours working on that one. Watch out for that one coming up here in a few days. All right. So let me take a break real quick. We'll be right back on the storyline. Got a couple more callers on the line. Be right back.
Are you the 2024 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year? The Dallas Cowboys and Captain Morgan are celebrating extraordinary, inspiring, and original fans. Nominate yourself or the biggest Cowboys fan you know for a chance to be named the 2024 Fan of the Year and win prizes, including a trip to Super Bowl 59. Visit DallasCowboys.com/Fan of the Year. Go Cowboys!
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Are you the 2024 Dallas Cowboys? The Cowboys Storyline.
Gear up for the 2024 NFL season with official Dallas Cowboys gear. Head to a pro shop near you or log on to shop.dallascowboys.com and score jerseys, t-shirts, headwear, and more. All right, guys, let's get going. Back to the phone lines. We got Tim in North Carolina. Tim, what's up?
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. Glad to get through.
All right.
Yeah. Just want to make a comment on the game Saturday. Super impressed, super stoked with our offensive line, especially considering we played our 2s and 3s and they played their 1s. The game is worn down in the trenches, and I'm impressed with our trench work.
I agree.
Yeah.
BB.
Yes, BB
and Guyton. They both look like they're going to be okay. Like they're going to have problems. So just like Anthony had said in the last call, they're going to have their issues. Most rookies do, but if this is the floor, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
So am I. I called you earlier. Everybody was talking about we need a running back. We need a running back. No, we need to fix that. That line. And think we did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one other thing, I called you a while back, and I mentioned that maybe we should put something in the ball so we could get better spots. Got destroyed by the next caller. So I wonder what he's thinking now.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see how it works. I mean, I think it's a good idea, and I'm sure it's going to be fine. Just like with anything, they got to work out some of the kinks. But as long as that shouldn't take long. It should be a quick thing, and I think that they'll get to the point of it. I mean, you just want the call to be right. That's all. That's all you want, and
that's all I want. I've seen too many games won and lost. By calls.
Yeah. I don't remember the other call. I don't remember another caller saying that, but again, I don't remember this morning that much either. So but you're from Winston-Salem, right?
Yes, it's a Tim from Winston-Salem.
All right. I had North Carolina written down. I want to make sure I got the right guy. All right, appreciate it. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Good call. Everyone's liking this offensive line. What's not to like? I mean, I mean, BB, I'm a week ago, I did not think this was going to be a situation where he could get himself into the competition at center. I thought the competition was over, and I think it might be, and it's kind of flipped the other way. I think Hoffman's done a really nice job, and we knew he wasn't gonna go down without a fight, and he's been fighting. He actually took it to the game. It seemed like he fought every play in the game, but BB, he does a nice job with that second level. You saw several plays where he was blocking, two guys on the same play. That's what you're supposed to do. That's a lot of things to do at center. Make the call before the snap, get the snap right, especially if it's a shotgun, and then, block your guy or guys in the same play. I thought very impressive. And, I loved when Max Crosby went up against Guyton on the left side. First play, it was a double team. Him and Schoonmaker kind of moved him back. And then I didn't see him against Guyton for about 5 plays. He was like, I'm going to go over to the other side with Let's Go. And he was, he was doing okay. But when he matched up with Guyton, it was pretty interesting. So, again, he's going to have some issues with guys like that. He has issues with Micah at times. He'll have some problems with Myles Garrett. They'll give him some help. But I think, he's going to learn on the run here. And just like with BB, if this is where the starting point is, I think they're going to be in good shape. All right, Brian in Kansas City is next. What's up, Brian?
Hey, Nick. Good to see you back in the studio, man.
Oh, good to be back. Good to be back.
I'll bet. You got to be just loving anything other than a mower in the background.
Oof. Ooh, it was brutal. It was brutal. But anyways, had to get done, right? Always at that time, had to get done.
Man, I'll tell you what. You and Bean figuring that out, that there was some way for us to call in while you were in training camp, was the greatest thing. Last year, you were trying to launch the show, which was going to be a fan show without fans.
Right. Right. It was tough. We interviewed some players. That was good. But, yeah, Beam, I'll credit him. He did a nice job. He had to go to, he always goes to this convention in Vegas. And I'm like, really? You got to go to this convention, huh? In Vegas. And he's like, yep, got to go. And he went last year in the summer. He said, my goal is to go there and meet with different people, all kinds of, all kinds of technology, new stuff. And he's like, I'm going to go find a way to get a phone line to training camp. And sure enough, he did. And he got it down. And even when it broke for one day, he got it fixed the next. So credit to him, who's still out in California. He'll be back.
Yeah, I talked to him yesterday. I've been calling in for as long as it's been possible. And yesterday, I think for the very first time, I talked to Mickey Smagnola. I don't think I've ever talked. I've never called in on a show where he happened to be sitting in that day.
Nice.
So
nice.
Interesting. I have the same question for you, though, that I asked him in Savannah yesterday. When I was watching the game, and, this was the first time we, as fans that aren't out in Oxnard, we got to see Deuce a little bit.
Yeah.
And he does look a little bit, and I've heard a lot of commentators, Broadus and some of the other guys, Kavanaugh, say, he says, hey, I put effort into not being, not pretending to be Barry Sanders and running backwards for 5 yards to try to get out of a tackle. I really put effort into, I'm going forward.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, I'm going forward.
Yeah.
And he looked, I have to say, he looked different because, last year was in the regular season was a train wreck. As soon as he's averaging like 2 yards a carry, and every time he got hit, he fell down. So my question is this. I thought he looked much, much better, like almost a different player compared to what he was trying to do last year. He seemed to have, and he said it in one of his interviews, I wonder because so I'm assuming Hunter, Rico, and Zeke are on the team, right? They bubble wrapped the two of them, and I don't know if Hunter played yesterday or played that day or not.
Mm-hmm.
But those are three. I'm assuming they're going to keep four because the other two guys are so similar to what they already have. Does that mean does that give him an advantage because he's the smaller scat back? Totally different body type, different skill set. And as Savannah pointed out yesterday, he's got return ability. Right. So if you need a backup, something happens to Terp, you need a backup. you have that. And I don't know. I wanted to get your opinion on that. And then for my old-time player, let's go with Darren Hambrick. I haven't heard anybody talk about him in ages, so pick a story about him if you got one. And I'm glad to talk to you today, man.
Okay.
Take care.
All right, thanks. Good call, Brian. The thing about Deuce is it's going to be very, very interesting. And like you said, because he's got a different skill set, does that give him advantage? You could make the argument either way, but I think you're right. It does. I think the Cowboys. I think he did enough in that game, even on a couple plays where you just wanted to see is something different. He should get a lot of snaps in this last game. I mean, he's a guy that I'd want to see a lot of. I'd want to see some of Royce Freeman. Malik Davis is a guy that's really caught the coach's attention. They talk about him a lot. I don't see it as much when I'm watching him. I just don't see what separates him. He looks like Rico Dowdle to me, just not as fast. So that would be my guy there. Now Royce Freeman seems like he's got a lot of Zeke in him as well. Not as accomplished, of course, as what Zeke does. So, but no one, like you said, no one does what Deuce can do. Is it going to be worth the roster spot? Can you get him to the game? Can you make him active for the game? That's just going to be tough. I don't know where Hunter Lipke falls into that. But that running back position is getting very, very weird. Not weird, it's not the right word. It's just getting crowded. I mean, that's what it is. It's going to be fun to kind of see how that goes down. All right, Darren Hambrick stories. I mean, Darren Hambrick gets mentioned every single time, every year of the OTAs when the term voluntary comes out, because he missed he's the one that has the quote that says, "What do voluntary mean?" That's his quote, Darren Hambrick, because he was holding out for a contract, and I'll say this, he was saying this to reporters and he misspoke, and then the training staff had some fun with him because he said that he like everybody else, he wants to have a 25 square foot house like everybody else on the team. And I think what he meant to say probably was 1,000, but he didn't say that. So the trainers had some little fun. They had a little cardboard box and they put a 25 square foot house and they made up for him and they put it in his locker to have some fun with him. Good athlete. He was number 54. Wasn't one of the greatest 54s of all time, but he was a good athlete. Him and his brother played on the same team at the same time. All right, let's go to Sebastian in Savannah, Georgia.
Good afternoon. How are you doing, sir?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Something I really like is that you're able to hear the caller prior to you now. I don't know if that's something new.
Right.
Really cool and very helpful.
Yeah.
So you guys hit on my running back point. Shout out to Chris because he's always working, always going at it. But shout out to Miss Jazzy in the back. I love you in the work that you do on Girls Talk, Boys Talk. I meant to tell you, but we kind of got off real quick.
I call her Utah.
You call her Utah?
Utah Jazz.
Utah Jazzy. I feel it.
She didn't even know that was a team. Like she wasn't even sure what that was. But yeah, she's fine with it. So
come on, that's a throwback. But that is wonderful. But one thing that I really loved about Saturday's game was, and that I'm very happy, the Raiders played their starters.
I know. That was good.
And to be honest, if that's their starters, yikes. But
no, they're in trouble. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
If that's their quarterback situation is throwing picks to Keemon Hall there in the fourth quarter, like, yeah,
you hit the nail on the head. The craziest part is you can see in that game how coaching and pedigree go hand in hand. The Boots guy that we just bought in from, I think, Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
You can see he gets with Chris, and all of a sudden, he can cover much better. He's in position to make plays on the ball. He missed a couple of plays, of course, but what I would have happen if I'm the linebackers, when they're doing the hand drills for the quarterbacks, go out there, because 55 should have scored.
Yeah.
It hit him right in the breadbasket, and he dropped the ball, and I'm like, come on, that was 6 points for you right there.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people that are going to make this team that probably fans won't expect, but you guys really make it important for us to watch the preseason games and, like, these backup players. Like, the draft coverage and everything that you guys do is phenomenal. You guys are doing such a good job over there, and having this show to talk to you and talk to the other fans is just awesome. Shout out to the StoryLiner. Shout out to you guys. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up, Mr. Eatman.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. Love when you call. Good stuff there from Savannah, Georgia. All right, the phone lines are open. Actually, that's a good time to take a break. We're gonna take a break, Jazz. Let's take our last break real quick with the lines open like that. We'll be right back here on StoryLine.
Are you the 2024 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year? The Dallas Cowboys and Captain Morgan are celebrating extraordinary, inspiring, and original fans. Nominate yourself or the biggest Cowboys fan you know for a chance to be named the 2024 Fan of the Year and win prizes, including a trip to Super Bowl 59. Visit DallasCowboys.com/Fan of the Year. Go Cowboys!
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
If you want to get the last copies of the Dallas Cowboys Star Magazine training camp preview, all the players are featured in there. Make sure and go to training camp, go to the training camp preview page, local pro shop, or DallasCowboys.com/star. All right, let's go to the phone line. Gavin in Oklahoma. Gavin, what's up?
Man, I have to start with an apology because I lied to you last week. I called you last week. I told you let's push the brakes on Tyler Guyton and that, his anchor didn't look great to me, but I'm excited, man. I lied to you. Okay. I told you I wasn't going to get excited. I'm excited.
That's okay. I don't even know if I heard you. I heard half the call last week, so it's all good. I'm not even going to count that happened. You know what? I lied too. I said I wasn't even going to be a center competition, and all of a sudden here comes BB. Not only one start, he looks to be better than Hoffman. I bet he gets. I bet he's in the lead now. So
yeah, I can't exclaim how much I'm excited about this rookie class. I think it might be gold. It has the potential. I think all the traits you want from all pro players, some of these players in this draft class have.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about the roster in general. I feel like we have veteran leaders at each position group, and we have elite players at each position group. I think, the talent's still there. I think we're still contenders regardless of the negativity the fans might have. I think we're definitely in a good spot to be contenders.
Yeah.
But that kind of leads me to my last point. I was going to talk a little bit about the contract negotiations. I'm sure you're tired of talking about them, but I feel like the fan base is giving the front office a lot of flack right now, and I just don't understand it because you have to put into perspective they're trying to get 3 superstar players done and keep it within the cap space, but people want them to rush through it. That's just not how it works. You can't just say, oh, CeeDee, here's a $40 million a year contract, and then let's go give Dak 60 and let's go give Micah another 40 while we're at it. There's a process to these things, and it's a two-way negotiation.
Right.
I really find it hard to believe that CeeDee went to the front office last year and said, hey, I really want to negotiate a contract instead of betting on myself this year, knowing the type of player I am. I mean, I don't understand where you could think that they just sat on their hands and didn't get anything done. I really think it's more likely that CeeDee didn't want to get anything done till now. He was kind of waiting to see what the market was going to do and what kind of season he was going to have. But that's really all I got to talk about. I'll let you talk. Right, and I'm the biggest CeeDee fan in the world, I want to say, by the way. Yeah. I love CeeDee Lamb. I just think we need to take both sides in here. But, thank you, Nick.
I agree. I mean, thanks for the call, Gavin. And I think one thing we're seeing is that it does go both ways here. It's not just the Cowboys, not getting it done. And you don't want them to just get the deal done, because that's what gets you in this salary cap hell. And that's sort of where they've been here. And they're trying to make sure that they can kind of navigate through this a little bit. Yeah, they can get the deal done tomorrow. They can get all three of them done tomorrow. I don't know if they can sign anybody else, but they're trying to do it in a smart way where they can still function, still have a team that can go out and compete. And that brings me to the next point that you made about the draft class and these rookies. I mean, it's early. I get it. They haven't played a real game yet, but it does seem like this class is going to be way better than last one. It seems like you're going to just get you're going to get a starting left tackle there in Tyler Guyton, and it looks like you might get a starting center in the third-round pick. Marshawn Nealon, I think, is going to be fine. I don't think he's going to start, but, I mean, he doesn't really have to. He's going to be fine. I like Maris Leofau. He's going to get to play a lot. He's going to play some on special teams. Kalen Carson looks really good, 5th-round pick. I know I'm missing some guys, but I mean those guys right there, they're going to be on this team and they're going to be contributing this year. I think that's a lot. That's really all you can ask for. All right, let's go to Bob in Rio Grande Valley. Bob, what's up?
This is Bob in the Rio Grande Valley.
Yeah. Hey, Bob. How you doing?
Hey, Nick.
Good
Welcome home, buddy.
Appreciate it.
How does it feel to sleep in your own bed?
Oh, it feels nice. Feels great.
I bet.
Yep.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I just got a couple of things that I'll get off here. One, I'm very, very impressed with our rookie class. That we got a couple of maybe 3 starters out of this draft, and guys have got some real futures to them. Now I've got a couple of comments.
Okay.
Looking forward to. Well, I'm not looking forward to it. I'm kind of dreading it in a way, but it's going to happen. A lot of teams are salivating right now, watching the waiver wire that's going to happen, because we got some guys on defense that we're not going to be able to keep. They're going to be starting for somebody else. And I want to make a prediction, and we won't find out about this until mid-season, and I'll talk to you mid-season, and I'll either eat some crow or you can pat me on the back. Mm-hmm. I don't think that our really bell cow running back is on the team yet. I think we're going to pick somebody up off of waivers who's going to come out of nowhere. And with that, I'll say welcome back, and thanks for taking my call.
All right. Thank you. I don't know if I disagree with you there, Bob. I thought that myself at times, and then there's times where, you watch some of the games and you think, well, maybe they'll get it done here. But, I've learned a long time ago that for the most part, everybody you see on the roster, there's 10 other teams, maybe every team has that guy. So when you see a Rico Dowdle or a Royce Freeman or maybe even Deuce Vaughn. I mean, the Rams came into practice twice. They got a running back that looks very similar to Deuce Vaughn. I don't even know his name, but I mean, he looks like I thought maybe Deuce got traded over there. I mean, because that's what he looks like. So my point is that you can't fall in love with your own players. You can't be like, man, these are the guys. We don't need anybody else. No, you need to keep looking. And if one thing we've seen from this scouting department here at training camp is that they're bringing a lot of guys in. I mean, we brought in 10 different players just from training camp alone, just different guys that weren't here to start camp, and now they are. And it's not just the big names like Carl Lawson and Jordan Phillips. I mean, it's Cole Cabral and Nick Vigil and Darius, I forgot the linebacker's name. Darius Johnson, or I don't even know. 46. He actually played really well the other day. But that's my point, is that they're bringing in a lot of these guys. Keemon Hall was another one that came in training camp, gets an interception for a touchdown. So the point is that they're going to keep churning the roster there. They're going to keep looking, seeing what's out there. You might be right. There might be another running back that they get in there. I'd be hard-pressed to think he's going to come right in and be the starter. I don't think anyone's going to let that guy go, but it might be the guy that eventually takes over. We'll see how it all shakes out. All right, let's go to Dylan, Northport, Florida.
Hey, Nick.
How you doing?
Hey, all right. So some calls ago, it's Todd Francis, Dak's agent, and I'm getting to the point here where I think I'm going to hang up a dartboard in my office with his face on it, because this guy's too good at his job with these short short deals and negotiating. I hate him because he's so good at his job and he kills the team every time. But I guess props to him for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I don't even know. Like, I don't know the other teams the other guys that he has. That was my point, was that we don't really know the agents that well. They're not that high profile. Maybe he is, but you're right. I mean, those guys get some of the blame too. They're the reasons these things are getting kind of dragged out.
Yeah, the only reason I know he is because we talk about it a lot in the group. A lot of us share some disdain for him.
All right.
But yeah, this draft class looks good. We have some reinforcements coming from last year too, obviously with Overshown, and then Jalen Brooks looks good. We'll see about Mozzie. But I got a hot take for you, speaking of hot takes earlier.
All right.
So Zeke's a lock to make the team, right? He's not going anywhere. But my thought, and I'm going to get some heat for this, I know, but should he be, right? Because when I look at him in his career, he wasn't very good last year, but you can also say the Patriots were crap and their offensive line was crap. But when you look at his career and kind of the downward trajectory he's been on, he's got 2,000 carries, a series of minor leg injuries. That all adds up over time. So when we get to, my concern is December, January, assuming we get in the playoffs, how much is he going to have in the tank? Especially my biggest concern is they're going to lean on him too much because he's been the guy for so long. He has the big name. I know last time he was here it was because of the money, more than likely, but we were all screaming for more Pollard carries. And I'm just concerned they're going to lean too much on Zeke when if they had a guy like Royce instead of Zeke, and they're very similar in what they bring to the table, I think at this point in their careers, Royce only has 400-something carries, so he's up fresher in terms of legs. I think that would force them to be in more of a committee versus if they have Zeke. And just from namesake alone and what they know about him, depending on him too much. And I guess my last point real quick is that I'd hate to see them lose a guy like Deuce. I really like Deuce a lot, going back even to last year. And you can't really judge him based on the regular season. Last year was end of games, backups were in, stack boxes, all that. But even in the preseason, I liked him a lot. But I'd hate to lose a guy like him who brings something different and have both, Royce and Zeke on the team who are basically the same guy. If you're having a committee, I think you need guys with different skill sets kind of across the board there. So just want to get your thoughts on that.
Who are you letting go of then? Like if you said, all right, Dylan, you get to keep 4 backs, only 4 running backs on the team. Which 4 are you keeping?
Yeah, you're gonna hate it, but it's gonna be Royce, Rico, Lipke, I guess we count as running back, and Deuce would be the 4.
Yeah. I see your point. I don't. They're not going to do that. I don't believe because just their history with Zeke and Zeke's done more than Royce Freeman has done. But I get your point. I totally understand that. I don't think they'll do that. I just feel like one way or another it'll work out. It always does. And I'm not saying that somebody's going to get hurt, but it'll work out where if they want to keep 4 or 5 running backs, they can. I still think they could cut Malik Davis and get him on the practice squad. I believe that. And it might be a situation where you cut Royce Freeman and get him on the practice squad. Now you're sitting there with these game day call-ups, and you can do that a few times. So
I was going to say that too about Royce. You can probably cut him and get him practice squad. I don't know if Deuce makes it because I could see a team like Kansas City picking him up, somebody with an offense like that, kind of a scat back.
I don't think he makes it either, but I think Malik Davis or Royce Freeman could, and you could cut him and get him back on your team and have him in the practice squad and in the rotation and occasionally on game day, and maybe somebody gets hurt for the full season, and then you could move him there. So it's not a bad problem to have. All right, Dylan.
Thanks.
Thank you. Let's go to one more caller here. We got Randy in Texarkana.
What's up, my brother from another mother?
What's up?
Man, I'm just riding along. I hadn't got to hear the show. I tuned in earlier just to make sure you were on at that time, and I heard our brother from Utah talking about, Jerry and the fans and whatnot. So I was just going to go in that direction. But I need to educate it real quick. They need to realize that Jerry is the new Al Davis to the NFL. He just is. There's too much proof out there. You've got numerous reports of Roger Goodell and Robert Kraft not blocking Jerry too much. And you got the old saying, when you're the person on top, everybody's trying to knock you down. I mean, look at all the coverage. It's ridiculous. You can put it on every show on TV. and they're always talking about Dallas. We get more airtime than the Chiefs do, and they're back-to-back Super Bowl champions. And, I mean, there's just so many reasons I can name. Like, the one from last year is the most obvious one is Parsons. I mean, he was literally getting mugged on every play, and the referees just would not throw a flag.
Right.
And I know that sounds like a conspiracy theorist, but damn, sometimes when something's right in your face, you kind of need to look at it. And, you know, they might be a little tired of Jerry. And so they're forcing the media issue of pound on Jerry or pound on Dallas. And that's where the fans come in. They, you know, obviously you're the voice of reason, but we only get to hear you for an hour.
Right.
all this other stuff is on 24/7 in our face. And a lot of fans they'll listen to that and they'll take it as gospel and they start running with it themselves, which then they win. You know, the haters, they win when we can get, you know, when they can get their own fans to turn against them. Jerry's on top. He's got all the money. He's got all the power, and they just want to knock him down. And to me, that's the old Al Davis theory. You know, that's how they were with him. That's just my thought.
All right. Well, I mean,
what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you call him Al Davis, but I get what you're saying there. And that's one thing that Jerry though will always want though. Jerry does want the publicity, and he wants them talking about him, good or bad, because he can deal with it. And also doing things your way, doing things in a unique way. Sometimes it's not what the rest of the league wants you to do. Al Davis made a career of that. Jerry's done that as well. But you still considered good for the game, and always wanting their team to have a successful team. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I don't think Jerry would hate that comparison at all.
Right, and it's kind of funny too, because yesterday Dylan and Rob and I were going back and forth on X about me and Rob remember the Super Bowl days and how much trash we used to get to talk to everybody else because, you know, we were winning all the Super Bowls. We were kicking everybody's butt. And I told him, I said, you know, it is kind of almost our generation's fault that everybody talks and hates about the Cowboy fans because back then we were talking a lot of trash.
Yeah.
You couldn't say a word to me, and they hated that. And now that we're not on top, they love to come back. So I apologize to all the youngins out there that didn't get to experience that. But, hey, I was living it up, man. Cowboys were on top, and I was living it up.
So it's your fault, Randy. It's your fault.
It is my fault. I'm sorry, guys. Y'all all come to my house. I'll make up for it. We'll have a good time.
All right, Randy. Have a good one. Thanks for the call. It's a good point. I mean, you're right. I mean, and I've said this all the time. Cowboys, either you love them or you hate them, but there's really no in-between at all there with the Cowboys. All right. Good show. Jasmine, you did great. Paul's back there working. You guys did a great job. Appreciate that. We got 11 calls. Outstanding. Good stuff there. So we'll do it again on Thursday. Jake, I'm going to get my son up here. He's been hanging out here for being quiet. His phone hasn't come on. Appreciate it. What's up, bud? Hi. How you doing? All right. Get your hair messed up. He's taking a day off from school today. All right, let's say bye to the fans. See y'all. See you Thursday. Bye. We'll be back on Thursday. See you guys on StoryLine.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?